And good morning, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News, coming to you from our digital desk. We're going to be taking you to a news conference being held by the family of Amanda Dean. You'll remember Amanda Dean was missing since 2017. Her body was never found, but her boyfriend was recently sentenced to 14 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter, gross abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence. It was an emotional day for the family in the courtroom, so they chose to wait until today. They're using Cleveland Missing as the backdrop here. Cleveland Missing got involved when the family felt that the Huron County Sheriff's Department wasn't doing their job. The Cleveland Missing group was able to get BCI involved, and it was really BCI who got the evidence that saw that there had been some sort of struggle back in 2017. Ultimately, they determined that Rear not only killed Amanda Dean, but ended up dismembering her, burning the body, and then dumping the ashes in a local creek. And that's going to be part of today's announcement, is this idea that gross abuse of a corpse is currently a pretty low-level felony, and we believe there are some state representatives there. You see them seated next to Chief Majoy, that are going to perhaps make an announcement when it comes to that idea of gross abuse of a corpse being just an F4 felony, a level 4 felony. There are her 4 sons, Amanda Dean's sons, joined by her sister wearing the hat, and Amanda Dean's mother just off screen to the right. Let's take you live now to the news conference.
Stephanie Weeden, it's StephenieWeeden, and I'm her older sister.
I'm Shannon Dean, ShannonDean. I'm Amanda's sister as well.
I'm Caroline Tokar, CarolineTokar, Amanda's mother.
I'm Kelly Nieder, KELLIEDEETER, and I'm the state representative representing the 54th House District, which is Huron County and about half of Lorain County.
I'm Gail Manning, Gayle, Manning, MANNING. I'm the state rep for the 52nd District, which is parts of Lorain County.
I'm going to thank everybody for being here today. It's been a long journey for our family. As you all know, we lost my youngest daughter to, she was killed, and the guy who murdered her is now behind bars, we're happy to say. But it took us a long time. So we're here today, and we want to be able to thank everybody, also Cleveland's media, for being respectful to our family without being pressured to answer questions. That meant a lot to us. Everything was very organized, and we appreciate that. We want to also thank Cleveland Missing. This is where we were. Oh my gosh, back in 2023, January, we were here. We were looking for our Amanda. And we met John Majoy, Sylvia Collin for the first time here at this office. And I can't even tell you how much it meant to us to have somebody who was listening finally, because we had 5.5 years of being told that Amanda was safe, and she was not. So to have resources like that, brick and mortar, instead of an online, was big, was huge for us. And just to have ears that are listening, and then having the resources that we needed to get started to look for her. We ended up with BCI, which has been the reason this case has been resolved today, with their help in this. And they were relentless. They didn't give up, and we weren't giving up, and they weren't giving up until we had a conclusion on this case. So there are a lot of people who are involved in helping us. It was a village, and just Devin is our liaison here. We had liaisons in BCI office. We had liaisons in Norwalk office, but there are so many people to thank. And John Soraya, I just want to do a special mention on him too. I I can't even begin to tell you the gratitude this family has had. And we look forward to possibly doing some good things, in honor of Amanda and her memory. So, and John Majoy, thank you. You have been, you've been our heart of everything. You've really taught us a lot going forward, and we couldn't have survived. We really couldn't. You just have one person, 2 people, 3 people, and you start building this army, and we're just so grateful. Anyone else?
Oh, I'm sorry. I would like to thank everyone as well. With Sylvia and John Majoy and John Soraya and Dan Casares and the team that we had gotten, it was phenomenal that God just brought us together, because we couldn't have made it without them. They listened. They helped us in so many ways. Late night talks, they were our backbone all the way through, and they never left us one time. And I'm just so grateful for them. I'm grateful for Channel 19 News and the news stations and Cleveland stations that helped us along the way to get our story out there as well. And I'm just so very, very, very thankful. Thankful is not even enough for everyone that took part in this. I mean, gosh, how do you say thankful? How do you be thankful for something? Even though, I think Amanda deserved better justice, but I just know, I think we can speak out to help other families eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thankful for Cleveland Missing, everything they've done with us. Me and my brothers, we are very thankful that the man who did this is now behind bars. It means a great deal that BCI was able to help us. Cleveland Missing was amazing. They were the voice when we couldn't speak.
And today they've got an announcement that they would like to share, so I'm going to go back to Caroline.
Well, I'm very honored to be able to work with 2 of our state representatives on a new law, hopefully revised law. And it is, I'm going to let them speak of it, but it is the gross abuse of a corpse. And Kelly, you want to come over with us?
Sure, thank you. Good morning. Excuse me. I want to thank the Dean family for having us here today, and also want to thank Cleveland Missing for the work that you do for families in crisis every day, and for hosting today. We're here today because Amanda Dean's life mattered, and she mattered to her family, her children, her community, and now hopefully to the state of Ohio as well. Today is about honoring her, and hopefully it's also about ensuring what we can do so that Ohio can learn from this tragedy. Representative Manning and I are introducing legislation today. We are titling it Amanda Dean's Law, and we hope with that law to strengthen penalties when someone commits these unspeakable acts of violence, and then attempts to destroy, conceal, dismember, or otherwise desecrate a human body to hide what they've done or conceal their crime. Ohio law should treat this conduct with the seriousness that it deserves. Families and communities deserve justice and accountability, and in this case that was only partially achieved because of the statutory gap that we feel this case has revealed and Mr. Majoy brought to our attention. As lawmakers, we have a responsibility to ensure that our laws reflect our values, human dignity, respect for life, and the principle that consequences must match the crime. This bill is intended to close that gap so that Ohio law better reflects the reality that families like the Deans are forced to live through. These types of acts are not afterthoughts, they're part of the violence, they're part of the cruelty, and they deserve to be treated as such. So we are working closely with stakeholders and legal counsel to ensure this legislation is drafted carefully and correctly so that it is clear, enforceable, and meaningful. No legislation is easy to pass, but we're committed to doing what is necessary to move this through the process and get it across the finish line so that Ohio law reflects what justice truly requires.
And I'm happy to say a few words also. Thank you to the Dean family for having us. This is a heinous crime in itself. And the violence that this man has shown and what the Dean family had gone through for the last few years is horrible. But the fact that this guy could get out as quickly as he can, the fact that Representative Dieter and I are hoping to increase that penalty so that will add years to his sentencing. It won't help in this situation, but going forward, if we can get this passed, it will help. So Representative Dieter and I will work very hard to make sure that this passes, hopefully, this General Assembly. Thanks.
We'll take questions from the floor, from the court.
So if I understand correctly, it's gross abuse of a corpse is currently a 5th degree felony, so what would this legislation bump it up to be?
We're hoping for a felony too. But it will have to go through the process, so multiple stakeholders will weigh in during the process, and the language can change.
And I believe the 5th degree is like up to a year, 6 months
6 months
to
to
a
a year,
year.
it's the lowest level.
Yeah, and the second is like 2 years to 8 years. So he could have gotten it an extra 8 years if the judge would have chosen to do that.
So what's the process of, when do you hope to get this completed, like the draft of it finished and then hope to present it on the floor?
The draft should be done today, we should be introducing it today, filing it with the clerk's office in the Ohio House of Representatives. We have asked Senator Nathan Manning to consider introducing a companion bill in the Senate so we can move the bill quicker through the process. It will get assigned a committee. It will be heard in that committee, presumably the Judiciary Committee, go through the committee process, and if it passes out of the committee, it'll go to the House floor. Same process will occur in the Senate, and then we'll go to the governor's desk if we have favorable votes.
Is there any precedent that has been set in other states for these strengthened penalties, or is this unique for the United States?
I cannot personally answer that question, but I can definitely research that, and I'm sure it will become part of the conversation during the process.
That will be a question that will be asked probably in committee.
Just a question for the family, and whoever feels up to answering it. I know obviously it's so emotional, it's so difficult, and nothing fixes what happened, right? I know you're here together collectively to make sure that more is done, but just how has everyone been doing since this is, the sentencing and just processing things? And I know you're trying to do more, but how is everyone doing right now?
I think it is time to process what has just happened. But you have to understand, we've been processing it for a long time. What happened to Amanda, and just missing her, and just knowing that she's not going to walk through that door ever again. But I know that she would want us to do something, and to honor her. She went through a lot, and I just don't want no one to live like a family to go through what we went through, and have to fight for answers. So I am grateful that we're at this point now. It is some, relief to us that he's not walking out there and doing it to somebody else. But there's so much more work to do, and we wanna have something in April. My daughter Stephanie is planning on something for memorial for her. So we're going to continue. Amanda will always be with us, always. He couldn't take that away. our memories, her spirit. She lives with us. So, but we'll continue on. We'll try and do good things in Amanda's name. So.
If I remember right, when you guys first came here, you were having a hard time getting any kind of publicity or anything going for the story in Amanda. Was
Mhm.
this the pivoting point when you came here?
Absolutely. Somebody was listening, finally. I mean, there were so many variables in this whole thing that didn't make sense to us. And having a place like Cleveland Missing, somebody started listening. You know, we were just not our family, and we were just, you know, we weren't law enforcement. We had a problem at first with trying to get somebody to listen in that area, but I don't want to get into it too much, but let's just say Cleveland Missing opened the doors, gave us resources, gave us compassion, and gave us publicity. I think you were here for the very first one, if I remember correctly, back in 2023, January. So, yeah, we had a problem. I guess because we weren't getting the investigation going. We tried. But again, our bolo got canceled on Amanda within 24 hours. So, and they felt it was nothing to report. So,
When Gina started this with Sylvia, the thought was to give families a place where they could turn. It's worked.
oh yes. I don't know what we would have done. We were able to come up here and meet with them physically, talk to them. It wasn't over the phone. It wasn't online. It was actually human beings that we needed to speak to, and we needed help. And they have not stopped since that day. They've always been there for us.
Josh, I want to open that question I asked earlier up to you. I think you were trying to respond, but you didn't have a chance to.
Yeah. So, at least for me and my brothers, how we're feeling, we're grateful that he is locked up now. He got sentenced. We're frustrated because, again, due to certain laws that have been for so long the same way, he only got 14 years, and that's it. And he killed our mom at the end of the day. He did this. So we're grateful that he is behind bars, but we're frustrated at the length of time that he is. It's been very frustrating, this whole journey. And up until recently, I haven't really been speaking out about it, but it's extremely frustrating.
Well, you guys are all very strong for standing in front of us today. I want to applaud you for that, first off. I know that this is a big step, but just what's your message to other families? I know there are a lot of missing people still in this region, in this area. You knew all this time. What's your message to other people? Don't stop pushing.
Honestly, it's reaching out for Ohio at least, it's been reaching out to Cleveland Missing. They gave us a lot of resources that we weren't able to obtain, just us. So if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here today.
How much would it mean to your family for this new law to be enacted and become law in Ohio?
It's huge because it would help other families, and it may possibly deter, people from doing what he did to Amanda. And I just think when you do something like this so heinous, you're killing that person all over again. And like Shannon said in her impact statement during sentencing, in her eyes and all of our eyes, he killed her 3 times. It wasn't once, it was 3 times. And he made sure that we were not able to bring her home at all. So that abuse of a corpse, 12 months max, that does not fit the crime. It's another death sentence. It's a death sentence to the family too, knowing they can't bring her home. So I think it's a murder charge to me. And in my eyes, it should be felony one, but I know that's not going to be possible, but that's what I feel. Because it's my daughter that had to go through this, and we go through it with her every day. It's hard for us to think about what happened to her. It's horrible. So, but we want to dwell on positive things and go forward and do these great things that these two state reps are helping us with. I mean, this is huge to us, and we really appreciate it.
Caroline, you went through a lot of waves in this case, from the beginning where no one would listen,
Yes.
to now it's ended and there's a press conference and pending possible legislation. What advice would you have to other families, especially other mothers, who are going through what you went through? Is there any advice or any encouragement that you would be able to give?
Yes, don't accept no. Don't accept the word no. If someone tells you something, get proof. Ask for proof. Demand proof. This is your child or this is your loved one. Don't take somebody's word. Everything's okay. Press. Wherever you got to go, keep going. Keep going higher up till you make a lot of noise. It's all about making noise. And until you have answers, until you know for sure that person's safe, you know. We had nothing. We weren't given any explanations. Just we were supposed to believe that, you know, for 5.5 years. So it was very difficult, and it's hard telling her children, her boys, you know, that she's not coming home, when someone's saying she is coming home. So it was a struggle for us, but advice-wise, never stop looking. Don't give up. And certainly, if you don't see it for yourself, it's probably not true. So, and we knew her. We knew Amanda. We knew this was not her. It's out of character for her to do this. So, it should have been my gut feeling, but, and I feel guilty about a lot of this because I believed what I was being told, and I didn't pursue it for the longest time. And that's a huge guilt trip for me, you know.
Do you think that those people, not mentioning names that you're discussing, do you think they need to stand in front of a judge at some point?
Oh, most definitely. And, you know, we will have our day in court. That's all I can say. And we look forward to it.
Is there anything we didn't ask you guys that's important that you want us to make sure that people know?
I just want everybody to know that these laws, I mean, they're not perfect, but I just feel that with people, new laws can happen and revisions can happen, but there's got to be a lot of substance and meaning behind those laws. And I think that what we're doing today is a big step towards that. And there are other things I'd like to do later on, but right now this is huge for us. So I just want to keep moving in the right direction for Amanda.
Amanda was such a beautiful person. She had a great smile, a great voice. She'll stay alive forever in our hearts. We love her so much. We miss her every day. It's very hard, very.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Thank you all for coming.
Dan DeRose with 19 News. There you have it, the Amanda Dean family, courageous in their continued push for justice for their daughter, for their sister, for their mother, her 4 sons attending this news conference. The big announcement, legislation going to be introduced today called the Amanda Dean Law, trying to change the penalties for the charge and conviction of gross abuse of a corpse, and that is a terrible designation. But in this case, we found out that even though the Huron County Sheriff's Department had been telling the Dean family that Amanda was safe and that she was at a battered woman's shelter, well, no, it turns out she had actually been murdered by her boyfriend back in July of 2017. In the days after the murder, he cut up her body, set it on fire, and then dumped the ashes in a creek. Gross abuse of a corpse is currently at an F1 or an F5, a felony of the 5th degree. That's the lowest level felony, and that's pretty incredible when you think about how inhumane, how disgusting and vile it is to cut up a person's body, and that's just a 5th degree felony. The two lawmakers in attendance are going to put in writing today, file it with the clerk in Columbus, and they want to turn it into an F2 felony, obviously a 2nd degree felony, which is just one step under, obviously, murder. And you heard from the Dean family that it was as if, and we heard this continually in their victim impact statements at sentencing, it was if Amanda was murdered several times, that she was the first initial murder and then the cutting up of her body, that was like a second issue, and then the burning of her body was like the 3rd life sentence for the Dean family. So they are hoping this legislation, and sometimes we see legislation that just makes common sense and it gets unanimous approval. There will have to be some legal questions. Not every time in a murder case that I've seen in the past, when someone is charged with gross abuse of a corpse, that covers everything. That can cover tossing a body out of a car. It can cover burying a body. So it'll have to be adjudicated by the committee hearings, and this will go through the Judicial Committee about whether or not you can make this an F2 to cover every possible scenario. But again, it seems like a piece of common sense legislation that should get support. So we will continue to follow it throughout its process down in Columbus. We're going to wrap this up. Our 11 o'clock news on Cleveland's 43 is just a half an hour away, and then 19 News at noon on Channel 19, plus on the 19 News Plus app where you can watch it live. Until then, I'm Dan DeRosa with 19 News. Hope you have a good day.